Hello, welcome to the workshop, and in today's video we're going to be taking another look at these, which are my track saw guides, and they have a new name, and that's all coming up. Okay, so my track saw guides first appeared in a video in January, and lots of people asked if they could buy them. I made them simply on my 3D printer, and at the time the design was quite rough, but sort of did the job and solved a big problem that I have in the workshop. And then from around March time I had them for sale on my website, and then in April Peter Millard featured them on his channel, and sales just took off from there. Let's have a quick look at Peter's video.
But either way, I've been using these and they work extremely well. You just slip one of them under the guide rail and it gives you a little window that you can see where your pencil line is. You just line the workpiece or the guide rail against the pencil line, and that gives you a perfect 2.2mm curve cut.
So since the video went up in April, sales have grown really strongly throughout the summer. Other makers have featured the jigs on their channel, including the Badger Workshop and more recently the Gosforth Handyman, and he actually did a really good illustration as to how the guides are meant to be used. And I'll leave links to some of the makers that have featured my track saw guides below. It's a handful at the time of this recording, and as more come in I'll update the list below as well. So they have a new name, and the new name reflects the fact that I've continued to get a great deal of support on the YouTube channel and on Instagram from all sorts of cabinet makers, joiners, DIYers, makers who have all purchased my jigs and have given me some really positive feedback. Some of that feedback has led to refinements in production, and some of the feedback that I've had has refined the design, and I'm taking steps to protect my idea, and the new name all fits with that. The guides are available in 3 standard sizes: 2.2mm, 1.6mm, 1.8mm, and now there's a 4th option, which is a blade match option, and allows people that have got non-standard blades within their track saws, or maybe are using a less common make of track saw, to enjoy the use of this guide as well. If you need a guide printed to the specific width of your blade or the kerf of your blade, then you can pop the details of the blade and the kerf measurement that you require into the box, and then for a few pounds more I'll print you a custom jig just for you. So I appear to have solved a problem that many people have experienced, and with all good ideas they attract their imitators. And there are several 3D file sharing sites that have got little copies of this idea on the site. So let's have a look at 2 that I found. So the first is an L-shaped design, which to be honest is considerably thicker than the my guide, and there really isn't a way in which you can actually easily remove the guide from underneath the rail, which I think in my case, the little sort of window at the front, the purpose of that and the reason why the text is raised is to give you a little bit of grip so that you can remove the guide from under the rail without moving the rail. The second design looks awfully familiar. There's a little window idea in it, but these guides are tiny. They're about half the size of the guide that I've produced. Testing and feedback from users seems to indicate that the guide works better a little bigger, and this creates some problems for me in making them, in the sense that I can only actually print 4 sets at any one time on the 3D printer. But in use the guides work exceptionally well. They seem to be about the right sort of size, you know, a little wider than a credit card, seems to be the optimal size, and that seems to be working quite well too. Anyway, I plan to increase production in the run up to the holiday season, so they've got plenty available. They're almost perfect stocking fillers for Christmas if you've got a maker or a track saw user in your family. They are on my site at an incredibly good price. So I've spent a great deal of time in perfecting both the design and the production method on the 3D printer. The 3D printer is now very finely tuned. It produces incredibly accurate results, and this leads to a product which I think actually works incredibly well. Anyway, that's pretty much it from me today. A short video focused just on the track saw guides. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any comments, leave them below. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, then I suggest that you click the subscribe button now so that you can see upcoming videos. But anyway, from me, from the workshop for now, cheerio. I use this sort of credit card size spacer. It has a ridge running down the middle, which is exactly 2.2 millimeters wide, and I can basically then account for the width of the kerf when I set my saw up. Exactly 5 centimeters. So there we go.